Maranatha, my PBC family and friends. Pastor Brian here with another quick bite, living the word. Today we're going to come from. Let me just tell you what we're going to find out this morning. We'll be in Luke chapter 19. But what I'm looking at, I want to look at this week together is we're in the what we traditionally call the Passion Week of the Christ, or the week of Passion for the Christ, for Jesus. And this is that time right before Easter, right before his crucifixion and resurrection, the week preceding that, and everything that happens there. And so I want to look at a couple of things that happen. We're not going to look at everything that happens throughout the week, this week together. But we're going to look at this by day, kind of the basic, what happened on each one of these days leading up to it. Of course, yesterday would have been what was known as Palm Sunday, when the triumphal entry would have happened. All right, when they would have laid down the palms and sang as he was entering into the city. All right, predicted date, literal predicted date. So that's what traditionally would have happened yesterday. Now, today, one of the things I want to look at that happens on this day, on Monday of the Holy Week, is this. All right, is I want to pick it up now, Luke chapter 19, and pick up at verse 41, and we'll read down to verse 44. Says, and when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee around about thee on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave on thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. Now, what is amazing about this is what I really want to stop with you on here. Now, so this is Jesus, as it says, as he's approaching what? It says, when he came near to where? To Jerusalem. He beheld the city and he wept over it. Why? Because of all how they had so perverted and changed everything that he had set them up to be, everything he had promised for them, and how they just ignored those things, including even his own entry. How they just weren't paying attention to what was going on around them and what he was teaching them. They refused to receive the truth. They wanted to stick with their own vain traditions, their own vain commandments, and what they thought was right, instead of doing what was right in the eyes of the Lord. And so he stops, he beholds the city, and he weeps over it. I love another passage says that he said, I would have drawn thee as a hen as a chick into her hen, a hen to her chicks. I would have drawn you into me. I would have held on to you tight, but you refused to allow me to do so. Now, why I want to talk about that this morning for us in particular is this, is how many of us are refusing to actually accept and receive the comfort and the grace and the liberty of Jesus Christ, the freedom that he has set us free from. We keep putting ourselves under these moments of bondage and these things that we just keep thinking, well, this is going to be the answer. This is what I need to do. If I do this, then I'll prove myself holy enough, and everyone will know I'm holy enough. And what he's saying here is that's not the point, guys. This is not what it was all about. If you would have just, as he says there, he says, if thou had known even thou, and this, at least thy day, this is our day, by the way, right? The things which belong unto thy peace, but now they're hid from thine eyes. And how many of us are missing out on that peace in our life because we're so focused on the flesh, on the rudimentary things of the traditions and the commandments and blah, 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 and stuff like this, instead of actually focusing on what Jesus Christ really did. So help us encourage today as we enter into this Holy Week, and I'm going to call it that, guys. I don't want to make it sound like it's more holy than any other week. We understand what we're talking about here, the Passion of the Christ here. I want you to think about that. Are you being withheld from peace because you're so stubborn, even as those in Jerusalem, to hold on to what they saw fit and right, rather than what Jesus Christ is trying to do for them? Hope this encourages you today and maybe challenges you. As always, remember, I love you. We love you. God loves you, and God's got this.